Highguard developers, as well as some in games media, have taken to crashing out, blaming the players for the game's failure instead of just confronting reality. I am so sick and tired of players being blamed for failed games. This weird expectation that the customer needs to be there to catch these developers when they fall, that they need to donate their empathy to those who do not understand the customer's needs, do not seem to care, and then want to stand around and act surprised when everybody's upset. This is not a charity. You are asking for people's time, for their money, and for their patience. If you guys just wanted their well wishes, you wouldn't be putting a price tag on it. This is something.
True. Very, very true. And also remember, if the developers from Concord really wanted just people to play the game, and they, that's the main goal. Why didn't they release the source code for the game when they were shutting down? So that the players that are there could play the game on their own servers and make patches and all that shit. Because they don't care. They don't.
Something that the industry at large just doesn't seem to understand. They don't get why players are so upset, why they're so loud, why they won't trust anyone. Instead, what they want to do is they want to call you entitled. Say that you're algorithm poisoned, that you're addicted to outrage, without taking the time to realize they are the ones that created this monster. They did get one thing right. Players do want to see games fail, but that's not because they're evil or entitled. It's because they're sick of not being listened to.
Yeah.
So when words fail...
Yes, I would agree, yes. I mean, it's very clearly why these games fail too. They are just not good. They're at best mediocre, you know, a 5 out of 10. And people, a 5 out of 10 that cost $200 million. And is especially a live service game. Why would people that already play live service games switch their games for a 5 out of 10? If they can just keep playing their 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. Why? Why would they switch? Because I'm under the belief, and I will going to make a video about it, that the live service market, at least when it comes to PC and console games, is already saturated. There is not enough players going around for all these live service games. The people that already want to play live service games, they already play live service games. But they will not just... They won't play a lot of live service games. I mean, I'm playing Arc Raiders, Path of Exile 1, Path of Exile 2. That's already free live service games. How many more am I supposed to play? If every second game is a live service game, I already have 3. 3 that I'm mostly regularly play. I already have 3. Isn't that enough? Oh no, but what about this live service game over here? Why would I care? It has LGBT representation. I don't care. How is the game? I already have 3. Why would I switch to that game that has nothing going for it? Why? There's 0 reason for me to switch. And it's not even that I'm playing Path of Exile 1 and 2 all the time. Not even Arc Raiders. I mean, I play Arc Raiders every week. I've streamed the game on 3 days every week for a while now. And these 3 days are the only time in the week that I play the game. I mean, sure, I think yesterday I played, no, the day before. Yeah, even the day before, I played 1 round. 1 round. That's it. I'm not a hardcore video game player anymore. Simply because of injury. I can't sit for that long anymore. And yes, I am aware. When I'm streaming, I'm sitting a lot. And when I'm streaming for, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours, or even 10, that's not healthy. I know that. But that's the exception. Nowadays, it's the exception. So, back to the live service. I absolutely believe that there isn't enough players going around in the space of PC and console for all these live service games. That's why that's one reason why they are failing so badly on PC and console. Not so much on mobile, though. Mobile seems to be... But there are more people on phones than there are people playing on PC and consoles. Duh. But it's also... how to say it? The live service games that there are on the phone, they are all gacha games. I think the most successful live service games are gacha games. There are some exceptions for live service games on PC and console that are actually really successful. But most of these games didn't come out in the past 2 years. In the past 2 years, a lot of live service games came out and they just flopped. They just flopped. They weren't worth people's time to play. That's what my videos are going to be all about, that I'm working on, or starting to work on very, 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 very soon.
Them, they realized the only language left was consequences. The video game industry suffers from a severe lack of accountability and self-awareness, to the point
Yes.
now it's honestly just getting hard to comprehend. The same lessons get taught over and over, and nothing ever gets learned because the people that are making those mistakes refuse to believe that it is them. And we see this every single time a game fails. There's always an excuse that's deflecting around the obvious. The
Yes.
market's tough. We didn't time our release right. The genre's oversaturated. And now their new favorite, it's the players, it's content creators, it's the culture. Apparently, we manifested their failure into existence and unfairly got what we asked for.
No,
We've watched this same cycle for the past few years. A game gets announced and it genuinely breaks your brain trying to figure out how that game even got greenlit. Developers in conditions so sheltered that the second that game touches sunlight, it just evaporates. The character designs, the themes, the gameplay, the genre. Players look at it and they feel two things at the same time: offended that the industry thinks this is worth their money, and frustrated that this industry refuses to save itself. So then what happens? Well,
let it burn. If you want, let's be very obvious. Let's be very honest and frank here. If you want the gaming industry to be good again, almost all the big players have to die. Just die. Just go away. And in parts, that's already happening. But Western games, when they come from big studios, they all fail. They all fail. With some exceptions like MBUG and Arc Raiders. They are very successful with Arc Raiders. Even the finals, their first game is going up and has gone up in players again, when I remember correctly. That game seems to be financially viable. I don't know how, because I hated that game. But, it's seemingly not for me. Arc Raiders, on the other hand, is absolutely for me. It's absolutely my type of game. I love that thing. So, the question is, what are the others do? White Light got shut down, or is about to shut down. I think they are shutting down. They've laid off basically everyone. The game has shut down. I think the studio is still around, but that won't last. I can't see that that studio is going to get any money from any investors to do anything. Because they have proven they can't deliver something worth to pay for. Yeah. And I have completely forgotten what I was what I was talking about. Yeah, that's age. Completely forgot. Oh, right. The downfall of the Western game developers. Yeah. Just hope that independent developers or developers that aren't independent but get financed by small by small companies, small publishers, that is. Hope that these are successful, which they are, and they become the new norm. That's the hope that you should have. And yeah, I mean, if you continue to just buy games that you want to play, yeah, that will happen. It's that simple. Just buy games that you like. There. Oh, what a foreign concept. Spending money on things that you like and not spending money on things that you don't like. Oh, I'm a genius.
Well, the trailer gets downvoted into oblivion. Social media lights up. People say very clearly and directly, this is not what we want. The industry ignores it, calls it noise, pretends that it's the fringe, and then, while the game launches, nobody shows up, and somehow, yet again, well, it can't possibly be them. No, it has to be the players. In 2026, that game was Highguard. Everybody knew it was going to fail. Everybody said that it would. Hell, I made a video the day after its announcement saying exactly that. It looked half-baked.
Yep.
It looked like it needed more time. It needed to go into beta. That feedback was everywhere. The entire internet was criticizing it. Then the game released and it failed. Oh my gosh, what a surprise.
Yep.
Now we have the developers placing the blame at the feet of the players and content creators while assuming none of it themselves. Josh Sobel, one of the technical artists on Highguard, took to Twitter to write a lengthy reflection about how gaming culture destroyed the game. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but you do need to see just how out of touch this might.
Gaming culture didn't destroy the game. Just like gaming culture didn't create the success that Arc Raiders had. Highguard was bad. Arc Raiders is good. That's why Highguard flopped and Arc Raiders succeeded. It's that simple. Now, it's not even that Highguard was bad. It was just not good enough. And on top of that, things didn't make sense to have even in the game. Like the mining minigame. Why is that in the game? No one knows. You had 3v3, which, by the way, until the servers were shut down, was still if you went to ranked matches, 3v3 was still the thing you played, not the 5v5. How stupid are these people that made that game? Well, the fish stinks from the head, and as we know from videos and interviews, it wasn't actually just the developers. The developers actually wanted to bring in people from the outside to beta test the game. But the people up in the food chain said, no, we don't need that. And the result is the game shut down after 6 weeks. Great.
Mindset is because every time they say this stuff, it just proves the players right. Josh opens with, the day leading up to the Game Awards 2025 was amongst the most exciting of my life. After 2.5 years of passionately working on High Guard, we were ready to reveal it to the world. The future seemed bright. Everyone I knew who had a connection to the team or the project had shared the same sentiments. It's lightning in a bottle. I trust this team wholeheartedly. If there's one project nobody in the industry is worried will fail, it's yours. This has mainstream hit written all over it. There's no way this will flop. I could...
The most important thing is the first sentence. Everyone I knew who had any connection to the team or project had the same sentiment. And that's the problem. That's the problem. You didn't have anyone from the outside give any input. That was the problem.
play this all day. Now, either you are surrounded by professionally trained bioengineered gaslighters or you made this the hell up. There is no way. This is way too on the nose. It's almost stereotypical. Who would actually go out and say there's no way this game will flop? If there's one project nobody in the industry is worried will fail, it's yours. Jeff, you did this, didn't you? You said this to them. Your game was sheltered. I assumed as much, and I said as much in my review after the game had launched. Hell, I even think I said it in my intro. The more that I played it, the more I watched on as people with zero stake in the outcome cheered it on that probably weren't even playing it themselves. The more obvious it became to me and also to everybody else that this game was a casualty of toxic positivity, no different than Concord, because otherwise it would have never made it to market. Mining rocks in a first-person shooter. Massive maps with 3v3 and 5v5, even when you bumped it up later. A shooter where players...
They tested the maps. They tested the maps with 3v3, v3, v3. So you had 12 players on a map. Now, knowing that, the map sizes make sense. They were not designed for 3v3. They were not designed for 6 players. They were designed for 12. Great.
barely engage unless they're standing on an objective. A game that makes you feel like you're only fighting other players, what, maybe 25% of the time? No progression, no leaderboards, no scoreboard, a hero shooter.
Have we watched this video before? I have this strong feeling we have watched this video before.
Where the heroes make isekai protagonists look original, and nobody noticed that. You're
okay, we haven't watched it. I would have remembered that joke.
Trying to tell me nobody said anything. Nobody at a single point said, hey, you know what? Something might be wrong here. This is the stuff that drives players up the wall because it is so self-inflicted. These are not subtle problems. A Candy Crush gamer could call this stuff out. So either you didn't listen, didn't want to hear it, or no one around you was willing to say it. You were surrounded by people that were being supportive for the sake of being supportive, people that cared more about your feelings than they did about your results. And at the end of the day, the product that you made is what happens when you get a shooter that is built inside of a padded room, insular, coddled, and completely disconnected from what players have been asking for. And what they have made blatantly obvious over years of public failures. And it's no wonder that you were surprised when your game finally touched reality. Josh continues with his experience saying, but then the trailer came out and it was all downhill from there. Content creators love to point out the bias in folks who give positive previews after being flown out for an event, but ignore the fact that when their negative leaning content gets 10 times the engagement of the positive, they've got just as much incentive to lean into a disingenuous direction.
Which is true. I give them that. That's true. It is.
Whether consciously or not. Now, to save for time, I'm going to summarize a bit. He goes on to say that he got personally targeted too. He went private on Twitter to protect his sanity, and content creators saw that and turned it into a storyline, calling him a coward and sending angry waves of people into his replies. He said people laughed at him for being proud of the game, told him to go fill out a McDonald's application, and even mocked him for listing autism in his bio. I still don't understand why people do that.
Yeah. Of course people make fun for you for that, because it's stupid. It's stupid. It's just... I mean, how retarded do you have to be to do that? I don't put things for my medical health into my bio, because number one, no one actually cares. And number two, what would I gain out of that? Nothing. It's just stupid.
And I'm just going to stop it right there. Now, this guy is referencing me directly, so I have to respond to this. I am the one that pointed out how preview events are terrible for feedback, that they almost lead to nothing but glowing coverage. I've been to plenty of them. I know how it works. It's not even the point of it being a paid trip part. I think that's the laziest part of this conversation. I'm talking about the event itself. The drinks, the food, the social energy, seeing people that you know, seeing people that you don't. You're not locked into judging these games like a customer would. You're basically at a party and the game is just background music.
Yes.
And even if you do have criticism, there is real social pressure there. You are now face to face with these developers. You are surrounded. You are not trying to be the guy who is killing the vibe. That is poison to honesty. That's not bribery. It's just human behavior. But you want to go and flip this into content creators did this to us, that me and others disingenuously attacked your game because negativity gives us 10 times the engagement. You have no idea what you are talking about. And honestly, it explains a lot. It explains why your game failed, why so many other games are failing, why games media is struggling, because you people do not understand other people. You do not understand basic social behavior. And also, for the record, 6 out of the top 12 videos on...
Because they're weirdos that don't have actual friends. And not even their family likes them. Yeah, I said it. This is a threat. Indie games are the enemy now. Well, yeah, of course. Because they are good.
On this channel are positive. I am not some rage merchant that can only function off of hate. Yes, I do critical content. That is the theme of the channel. I compare, contrast, and I react to what's being said around a lot of these games, but my opinions do not create public opinion. They are a lightning rod, a loudspeaker for people who already feel something. Content creators cannot make people love a bad game. We can't make people hate a good one. The people who grow in this space are the ones who naturally resonate with others, not the ones that are trying to force a narrative. Being a contrarian does not work for you. People just want a fresh perspective, true, but at the same time, they are trying to seek out what they are already interested in. Go type in, I hate Dark Souls into YouTube, and you're going to find a bunch of videos that are just not dominating the conversation. The algorithm is still going to try to shove you into positive Dark Souls videos because that's what people actually want, except for Dark Souls 2, but that was actually a bad game, and that totally deserves to get routinely dogged on. But that's how the internet works. That's how people work. If you genuinely believe that content creators can just decide to tank your game for engagement, then you fundamentally misunderstand how attention works. And if you don't understand how attention works, well, then you probably don't understand how interest works. And if you don't understand how interest works, well, you're going to have a really hard time making something that people are actually interested in. The algorithm does not manufacture desire. All it does is amplify it. If negative videos about your game were getting 10 times the engagement, that's not because us creators flipped the switch. It's because that friction was already there. Skepticism was already there. People already had something.
I mean, we are seeing High Guard in the background, right? Does this look appealing? Like graphically? Does it look like, oh my god, this is so awesome? Literally, Vanilla WoW looks way better. Yes, it's low poly, the textures are not that detailed, but it at least has style to it. This is nothing. Fucking every other game looks like this.
That they didn't like about it, and the algorithm just poured gasoline on it. I really hope game developers are watching this. This is probably the most important and the most valuable bit of insight that I could give you. If you think that content creators cause the reaction, you are missing the most important step. You should be asking, why did the reaction resonate? You should be asking, why aren't people excited? Why are the comments negative? If your first instinct is to blame the amplification instead of the signal, well, all you're doing is just blaming a thermometer for a fever.
Yep.
You are so sheltered that you are instinctively deflecting any type of accountability before it even shows up at your door. Content creation success is about resonance. Video game success is about resonance. You cannot strong-arm people into liking something. You cannot strong-arm people into hating something. You cannot guilt people into anything. You cannot shame people into showing up. That doesn't work in any industry. So when I see a game developer that comes out that says that they believe that content creators are the ones that drove failure because negativity performs better, what that tells me is somebody believes that attention is something that you can control. And if that's the case, it makes a lot of sense why you made a game that you thought people should like rather than a game that they actually did. This industry needs to start asking, why are players so upset? Where are these reactions coming from? Why are they resonating so hard? Why don't they trust us? Why does it seem like they hate us? What do they actually get from our failure?
Wait, what? Oh, he's talking from the perspective of the developers, okay?
And if they ask those questions, all they would have to do is look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Now, I originally wasn't going to comment on any of this developer's posts outside of my live stream because I felt like I had already said what I needed to say in my review, but this last point in his response made me realize just how big this problem actually is and how the industry needs a very clear answer. Josh went on to place the blame at the feet of players, pointing out meme phrases like Concord 2 and Titanfall 3 died for this. He also claimed that the game got hammered at launch with 14K review bombs from users with less than an hour of playtime, saying that
I was muted. What I was saying is, well, yeah, but if 1 hour can be more than enough to say if a game feels good for you to play or not. I mean, in that 1 hour, you finish the tutorial. And to be fair, a lot of people didn't even finish the tutorial. That's how bad it was. And yes, if the first thing when I start the game is after all the logos, I get put into tutorial before I can even go into the menu, I already are incentivized to stop playing the game. Nier Automata, fuck that game. I hate that game.
most of them didn't even finish the tutorial. And then he says this: in the discussions about Highguard, Concord, 2XKO, and such, it is often pointed out by gamers that developers like to blame gamers for their failures. And that's silly, as if gamers have no power, but they do, a lot of it. I'm not saying our failure is purely the fault of gamer culture and that the game would have thrived without negative discourse, but it absolutely played a role. All products are at the whim of consumers, and the consumers put an absurd amount of effort into slandering Highguard, and it worked. Look, man, I don't want to repeat myself, but this game was not review bombed, and I'm so sick of seeing developers try to hide behind this excuse. Yes, there were troll reviews like there always are, but a ton of the sub 1 hour reviews were mostly people that were talking about crashing, performance issues, and actual gameplay problems. A Highguard match is 8 to 30 minutes. That is plenty of time for you to know if you are having fun. People didn't like the game, they stopped playing it, end of story. You do not get to under 2,000 concurrent players and layoffs because of review bombing. You get there because you have a poorly managed studio that didn't take in any feedback, and you made a game that people did not want to play. And for all the comments on the players, this industry needs to stop blaming the culture that they created. I'm going to say that again as clearly as possible, because for whatever reason, people in this industry still want to act confused as to why players are so savage. You created this, not us. Stop blaming us for your mistakes.
Yeah, always remember, the game devs are all coming for you if you don't like their games. Well, from the big studios. Well, from the Western big studios. If you don't like the game for any reason, they attack you. They attack you. If you don't like the design of a character, they come after you. Why? Because they are retarded. And they hate you. Which is a lot of the game devs in the West. They don't play games themselves and they hate gamers. It literally is that simple. And you can tell by the games they make and the comments they make about gamers. It's really stupid.
Start making better games or find another fucking job. It is not gaming culture's fault that you go on social media looking for affirmation and praise for your video game. That is on you. You are the one that put your balls in a bear trap. There is part of me, and I will say this, When I hear these discussions and I hear these devs talking about all the hate that they receive, how there has to be a better way to communicate, I think to myself, you know what? Maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe I'm taking this a little bit too personally. And then I snap out of it because I don't support these guys getting attacked. I don't attack them. I don't send people their way. This is all tone policing coming from people that are asking for my money. It is a way to strawman this entire conversation by pointing out freaks online who send threats so that you don't have to deal with normal customers saying this sucks. And if you ignore normal feedback long enough, you teach people the only language that you respond to is consequences. You want to know why players are so mad? You want to know why they don't trust you? You want to know where this culture is coming from? We went from buying and owning our own games to an industry that is actively litigating and lobbying against our right to ownership, pressuring us into subscription services so they can drip feed us access and eventually feed us ads inside of games that we already paid for. We watched an industry with no microtransactions turn into an industry that begs for more money at every opportunity. Microtransactions turn
because of greed and the globalists want that. It's literally that. It's literally that. These companies are publicly traded, and guess who owns them? The globalists. The evil globalists that want our money, that want to control us. You know, the usual. That's why this is happening.
Turning into macro transactions, bundles that cost more than full games, skins that are pushing $500, hidden stores for whales who have already spent $10,000 so that people can drop almost $50,000 on a spaceship. And even when we do try to support indies or...
And that... If I had 50k, I wouldn't spend it on a spaceship in a game. I would do something with that in real life. Literally, I mean... Oh my god, that's so much money.
Kickstarters, well, they still get bait and switched and left with nothing. We stand by and suffer while the industry...
Ashes of Creation, man. That thing burned down like... it was made of paper, salt and gasoline.
Parades around purposefully misinterpreted data claiming that women make up 50% of gamers and then use that as a cover to drain personality, flavor, and challenge out of our games that we've supported for years, studios that we have supported for years, all in the name of why...
Yeah, those 50% of gamers that are women, the majority of these women play on phones. They're literally playing Candy Crush. They aren't playing Assassin's Creed, they aren't playing God of War, or anything like that.
Wider appeal, to the point that you now have the producer of World of Warcraft saying that, well, they wish they hadn't called it Warcraft because it sounds too intimidating. That's where we're at right now. The end result of this has been an industry that is so greedy and so blind and so tone deaf to their audience that they can't even see the cliff that they are driving off of, even with every single sign screaming at them to turn around. Everything is TAM, total addressable market. This fantasy that there are millions upon millions of gamers that are out there that they just haven't captured yet. We just gotta find them. Meanwhile, the people that are actually keeping these guys in business are getting treated like obstacles, so they keep slopping out remasters and remakes to farm our nostalgia. They poison our experiences with more monetization to satisfy their investors, and even while they're making more money than they ever have, they still have the gall to tell us that we need to pay even more. And it hasn't stopped. The industry is fully committed to this idea of trying to take as much as it possibly can from its audience, squeezing, extracting, pushing, to the point that it's now costing them their quality and it's costing us our enjoyment. Ask the developers of Highguard, who were apparently only given a couple of weeks to design their characters because apparently they had concept artists moonlighting as people that were managing their microtransactions. We see...
Wait. We need to... What? Highguard lead character concept artist Christina Ferres revealed she was the only character concept artist and had to lead the MTX microtransactions team at the same time. That explains a lot. She only had 2 to 3 weeks to design a character and lead the MTX team within those weeks, which was very challenging for her. Oh yeah. Okay. So they were understaffed. Isn't it funny that that game cost 200 million and they were understaffed in the exact... You are telling me that the area where people would spend money on, you don't hire enough people to do proper work? how does that even make any sense? All right, the people on top are incompetent, completely incompetent. Now we know why all the designs are so basic, because she literally didn't have the time to come up with anything that's awesome. She literally just didn't have the time. 2 to 3 weeks for a character. That's not a lot of time. You might think it's a lot of time, but it's not. It's not a lot of time. Especially not if you lead the microtransaction team at the same time. So if you're lucky, you get, let's assume a 40-hour week, 20 hours per week into one character, which 40 to 60 hours. That's not a lot. That's not a lot. Oh boy, yeah, they completely fucked her over.
Concept artists moonlighting as people that were managing their microtransactions. We see you, we know what you are, you're not fooling anybody. Don't try to give us any of this "we tried to do it the indie way" shit. I remember not all that long ago, Mark Dara, formerly of BioWare, went onto YouTube after the backlash of Dragon Age the Veilguard with a video that was titled $70 Doesn't Buy You Cruelty. Same playbook, same tone policing that we're seeing right now, dragging out the most extreme examples so that normal criticism gets framed as evil. Another game that was supposed to be live service that pivoted last minute, stuff with messaging for an audience that was outside of its own, unrecognizable from what came before. And then right after that, we had an executive from EA saying out loud that they thought that fans would eat up whatever they put out because the nerds in the cave always show up for an RPG because it's an RPG. Yeah.
No, it has to be at least decent. If it's a bad game, then not even the nerds show up. I can tell you because I don't show up for bad games. Unless it's for content. Then yes, I do. But aside of that, no. A game has to be at least decent for me to play it. And if it's on that level, it's only something that when I'm actually really interested in the genre, if I really like that, then I show up.
But then those players didn't show up. What these guys haven't realized yet is that the players have shifted right alongside the industry, an industry that has been in contempt of its own audience, serving up slop and trying to extract as much revenue as possible until people finally internalize the truth that this Highguard developer just stumbled upon. Players do have the power. We use it, and we use it with purpose. This industry has taught their audience that the only language that they understand, the only language that matters is money. Not essays, not forums, not surveys, money. So they go out and they downvote these trailers into oblivion. They roast these games on social media. They watch videos and support creators that are already talking about what they're thinking. And they then go and do the one thing that they know that always lands. They don't buy it. They don't play it. And I hope you know that when these players start rooting for failures, it's not because they hate games. It's because they see where this industry is going. And they would rather watch this entire thing collapse and burn and rebuild it all over again than being dragged down this same road even further.
And the funny thing, the only thing they have to do is not buy bad games and buy good games. That's literally all they have to do. Just don't spend $80 on the trash and spend $20 on something good. That's literally all they have to do. And they win. That's all they have to do.
How can anybody be surprised with how players act today? Yeah, they're more hostile than ever, but the industry itself is more hostile than ever. We have more gambling psychology pumped into these games to the point that even Vegas would start blushing. Ownership is starting to vanish. We have microtransactions that have infested nearly every single experience. Slop just keeps getting served to the players, and we're expected to pay for it. Prices keep going up. We're done with it. They're not going to eat the slop anymore. They're going to make you eat the slop.
And you have to keep in mind that that's while some of the economies, you know, that especially in the West aren't doing that well. For example, Germany. Oh, Germany. Germany is not doing good. The German economy is not doing good. The last thing I heard is that fundamentally the entire industry that produces goods, actual goods, you know, not video games, not, oh yeah, here's the new commercial for your product. No, the companies that actually produce goods, they all want to leave Germany. Guess what that will lead to? Mass unemployment, a total collapse of the economy. Yep.
Like you deserve. I think what a lot of people fail to realize is they really love their video games. They are very passionate about this hobby. This is the way that they escape. This is the way that they get away from a lot of the problems that plague them in life that now are starting to plague them in games, and that's just not going to work. This is how people make a lot of friends, meet up and hang out with a lot of the friends. I mean, a couple of guys that I know still to this day are people that I played Modern Warfare 1 with way back in the day. And you have a lot of people right now that are just not happy with the direction that the games industry is going in, and they're showing how unhappy they are right now.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to say, I make these videos purely out of selfishness. It's because I want games to get better for me, because I want to play better games. I want more games that are made for me. And I am so lucky, insanely lucky, that I get the amount of support that I get from my audience and from a bunch of other people on YouTube that, you know, there's a lot of people that resonate with the messages that I have, with the discussions that I have, with the opinions that I have, which goes to show that there's a lot of people that are out there that feel the exact same way that I do. And that does not mean anything good for the games industry. I'm going to tell you that right now, because I am not a very happy customer. You have to confront that. You have to figure out a way to be able to harness that. I know that that's possible. You can use that to make better games. Tools have never been more available. Information's never been, knowledge has never been more available. And the ability to get feedback.
Yeah, but what kind of knowledge?
Feedback and connect with customers and get a pulse on culture has never been easier to do. It is just a click away. All you have to do is just listen and make better games. All you have to do is just put in the effort to understand and make better games. If we can get away from this self-absorbed games if we can get away from this self-absorbed games industry that we have been infested by for so long, where people want to have their cake and eat it too, where they think that they can just do whatever they want and that players are going to show up and pay for it, I'm sorry, that's just not how this works. I mean, look at the tens of thousands of indie games that don't get purchased every single year. Most of these guys don't even make the $100 licensing fee to get put onto Steam. You have to understand that people are not going to show up for everything. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully people understand why people hate video games or why people are so mad at the games industry right now.
Great video.
Really do hope this message gets through. If you guys enjoyed this video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, share it on social media. Definitely share it on social media. Share it on all the medias. Make them know. Let them know. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment down below.
Am I
subscribed?
Subscribe.
Follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter. Stay cool, stay righteous, stay safe. Peace.
Great video, like always. I think I've never watched one of his videos and it was bad. So that's great. Man, that was something.